Hello, and welcome to, episode 11 of Be Well, Be Whole. And this is the final installation of our series on the spiritual journey of self discovery. So, today, before we dive in, um, the Reverend Dr. Katie Cannon talks about doing the work our souls must have.
And so we are seeking to explore what calling or what that work that our souls must have has looked like and does continue to look like in our lives. I'm particularly exercised by what does it mean to be called? What does it mean for me to experience myself as called?
Right.
And I think that the perhaps the deepest meaning of that for me has been about fulfilling my life purpose, or at least fulfilling what I have come to understand is my life's purpose, is
Yeah.
what I'm here for, and that is a kind of like an outflow of what my ancestors, we were talking about the last time, what my ancestors have bequeathed me with,
Right.
as well as the kinds of experiences, those moments, and those events that have been seminal in influencing me along this path of
Mhm.
of life, that have brought me to a realization that doing a particular thing, like teaching,
Right.
right, is fulfilling, is doing the work that our souls must have. It's fulfilling something that is deeply within me. So, if one were to ask me, are you called to be a teacher? I guess so, but it's not a conscious thing. It's more, what I'm more conscious of is doing something that gives me fulfillment, something that seems to be in the groove, right, of what my life is about.
Yeah, and what I hear, is there is the doing and the being.
Right.
So calling, in a sense, is or fulfilling one's call is also to become more of who we are, to yeah, to be more of who we are.
Indeed.
This calling is connected to, more connected to being rather than doing, and I think this distinction, oftentimes, early in our careers, kind of trips us up, or and there I go, I got tripped up in that career, but life,
Mhm.
we life, um itself is the fulfillment of a call.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It really is, and so there's a certain ordinariness about this call. Sometimes we are thinking that it's going to be something that is going to, shake us to, and take us completely away from something. But I think of Moses and the burning bush.
Right.
Moses was doing his business. He was about his business. Looking after that flock of sheep for his father-in-law.
Uh-huh.
And then he sees this bush, and it's a bush. You know, I wonder how many bushes he's seen in those years when he was doing this. So there's something about this bush. And so there's an ordinariness. It's a bush. But then there's also a kind of significance, you know, and I think the significance lies in fulfilling that which is really you.
Yes, and Moses also had gotten to a certain point in life,
Mhm.
because I think it's important to point out that, every bush is burning. You talked about this
Yes.
the last time,
Yeah.
but I think Moses was about 40 years old when
Yeah.
he noticed
Oh,
this bush,
right.
and something, in his experience, in the ordinariness
Yes.
of life, this bush caught his attention at this particular time. So timing, life experience,
Mhm.
knowledge, all of these things kind of converge, um, um, such that we come to this new understanding or consciousness
Mhm.
of of calling or being. So when I think about my own tr- transitions
Mhm.
from corporate to going back to school, and now ministry and the academy. Um, while corporate and ministry and the academy sound like they are worlds apart, they're really not. The institutions, yeah, the structures are different, but what I'm doing and my being is essentially the same. I have a new um, body of knowledge.
Mhm.
I have a broader understanding or a broader comprehension of certain aspects of knowledge, but my calling is still being fulfilled in a particular way. That's not unlike what I was doing in corporate.
And that really is the discovery of self. You discover who you really are in a certain sense.
Hmm.
And it's a discovery that has come through the confluence of all these different things that we've been talking about, you know, and the transitions and the journeys that we make in this path of discovering ourselves and discovering what our calling
Hmm.
is discovering ourselves,
Hmm.
discovering what we are about, you know. So, recently, so I have been appointed to this office, uh, this episcopal office of oversight.
Hmm.
And I realized that this is something that I guess I've been doing this uh, without naming it as such or without even being named as such.
Right.
So there's an external
Hmm.
as well as an internal, So our church has invited me into this office
Right.
to perform formally a function that I've been performing informally
Right.
for for a while, right?
Yeah.
Again, it is a kind of discovery or a formalizing of something or an externalizing of something that has been a part of my being,
Yeah.
for quite a while. one of my dear colleagues at Candler, um, she began calling me Bishop from the very first day that that she met me, and
That would be Dr. Teresa Fry Brown.
that is Dr. Teresa Fry Brown. So yeah, and and I've always said no, 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 I'm not a bishop. But this is this is it. That there is an externalizing, there's an external voice, but that voice is only authentic when it recognizes that which is within you, right? And facilitates the fulfillment of that which is you, which is yourself.
Authenticity is key. It is a key component to fulfilling one's call. Authenticity, because if it's not authentic, first of all, it's not going to be as effective as it could be, whatever the calling or the vocation is. I was recently listening to Dr. Bertice Berry. She tells stories. She's a sociologist,
Mm-hmm.
and she tells stories that really um, grabs the attention of the seeker, I'll say. And in one of her narratives, she talks about going back to one's earliest memory.
Right.
And your earliest memory is a very big clue to what your calling is.
Right.
And I thought that that was so very very true. Her earliest memory was tapping. She was drumming,
Ah.
and she has connected that, this drumming gets people's attention, and that's what she does through her research and telling stories, and calls people's attention to social conundrums, um, social um, issues. My earliest memory, I think I talked about it last time, was as a baby in the crib.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about that, and I think about now my work as it relates to spirituality and health,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to see and connect beyond that which is physical.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is your earliest memory?
That's a great question for me, because I think my earliest memory has very much to do with a connection,
Okay.
connection with people. I think I particularly uh, experience a connection with my mother,
Okay.
and this sense um, of being related,
Okay.
you know, and so the kind of building of relationships and
Hmm. Hmm.
developing relationships and using relational uh, skills, in one's life. This has been the story of my life, so to speak. And yet, and like like you were just saying, it's very much the earliest memories that I have,
Hmm.
um, and then also worship. Actually, in elementary school, I wrote apparently, I wrote a piece for our elementary school magazine
Okay.
on worship. I was all of 7 years old, 8 years old when I wrote this little piece on worship, and many years later, the person who was our headmistress um, produced this piece, much to my embarrassment, if in one sense, because these were the scribblings of a 7-year-old, but yet already this love for worship was manifest
Hmm.
early age. Yeah, and I think that this the kind of even the what we're doing right now in this spirituality and health, let's be well, be whole, um, and having a conversation about these things.
Hmm.
It's almost like as if it fulfills something that goes right back to those earliest memories and those
Right.
experiences. And the whole issues around uh, developing,
Hmm.
relating, that these are the things that make for spirituality, and these are also the same things that make for well-being and health.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I always go back to the garden and being with my grandparents, and and this garden was a place in which um, I learned about God, what it means to take care of the body,
Hmm,
what it means to connect uh, the word um, with action,
hmm, hmm,
um, and prayer. These are my earliest memories.
hmm,
Um, and so I believe, fundamentally, we are co creators
hmm, hmm,
with God. So, and I'm thinking about these entities we're involved with, such as Be Well, Be Whole, the spiritual retreats,
hmm, hmm.
um, Per Ankh Wellness, and some of these other things are outgrowths of the call or the
Yes,
fulfillment of the call.
indeed. And that deep sense of this is what I do,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what I be.
Mm-hmm.
So that being and that doing coming to, it's coming meeting, this is me. This is what I be.
I'm right. I'm doing this because of
It is
who I am.
right.
I'm
Right.
not trying to uh now sometimes we do things in the quest to figure out who we are.
Yes.
But when we figure that out, it flips. We do because we be.
I really believe that our calling is fulfilled when our doing coincides with our being.
Mm-hmm.
It is when what we do finds its motivation from what we are,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and what we are finds its inspiration from what we do. So there
Yeah.
is that meeting uh, that really is the sense of
Mm-hmm.
fulfillment of our call.
So
That is the work that our souls must have.
it is, and I think going back to, our earliest memories as children, we know, our children know, because they do. When we look at our children or grandchildren, and we see who they are, and they're doing that, and oftentimes, I mean, if we see who our children are, we can help facilitate
Right.
um,
Right.
that. But so often the opposite happens. Somehow along the way, we become disconnected
Right.
from our natural ability, our natural intentions and proclivities. We become detached for that, and we forget along the way that this is who I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And so much of our life, oftentimes we are trying to get back to that being.
Indeed.
Yeah, trying to get back to who we are.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
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 So this concludes our final segment of the year.
Mhm.
And we've had some wonderful conversations,
Indeed.
and we've enjoyed sharing with you all. So we will begin again after the first of the year. And next year we will cover more topics, and we will have also new voices.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to including more voices in these conversations, right?
So may I wish us all a blessed holiday season, a blessed Christmas season, a blessed entry into 2021. And may this period be restful
Mm-hmm.
and refreshing
Yes, indeed.
so that we indeed be well and be whole.
And be whole. Ashe.
I say.